Hey everyone, Ogonslav here, and today we're setting up our compost bin. Let's go check it out. Composting is actually really easy and something that can be done by people who are just getting into gardening, or if they're working with a small space like an apartment balcony. But something so useful that you'll find almost every experienced gardener, homesteader, or farmer with a designated area on their property for these things. So there's two main methods of composting you'll see people regularly talk about, and that's hot composting and cold composting. The differences are hot composting requires a bit more time and attention to do it properly, but you get the results a lot faster, whereas cold composting doesn't require as much attention from you. You kind of just ignore it and let it do its own thing, and you get results a lot slower. I personally prefer cold composting because I have two little kids running around, and cold composting is a weekly chore compared to hot composting, which is, a daily chore. So when you have two little ones running around, I'll always take the weekly chore. All right, let's go see what I've been working on. I have these plastic bins here, and I'm going to be burying them in the ground to use as my base for the compost. I have holes drilled out at the bottoms for two reasons. One, it allows drainage so nothing gross is building up in the bottom, and two, it allows worms, pill bugs, millipedes, and other beneficial critters to have access to the soil that's located deeper in the bucket, and they can come and go as they please without exposing themselves to the surface. Since I'm cold composting, the materials that I'm going to be adding and the ratios of which I add it in is really rather simple. So for organic materials, you're going to want to use any plant-based things. That includes things like orange peels, banana peels, leafy salad greens, avocado peels is another one that we commonly use, corn. Just straight corn on the cob. You can chop these things up into smaller bits so there's more surface area. More surface area means that it's going to start decaying quicker. Avoid using dry cereal. The sugar in it tends to attract pests that you don't really want coming into your compost bin, but you could use dried oats. Dried rice is fine too. I guess you could use bread, like stale bread too, but remember, you're not going to want to be attracting critters like raccoons and possums and skunks into your compost bin. So if you think adding bread is going to attract those critters to your bin, best to avoid it. You also want to avoid using dairy and meats. Those things tend to spoil really quickly, and when they do spoil, those toxins are going to seep into your compost, and they're not good for you, so best to avoid those things. It's also fall coming up, so remember to save your pumpkin and squash peels to add those to your compost as well. But for a compost bin to work properly, you can't just add kitchen scraps. You have to also add what's called brown material, and that's any dead plant-based material. So dead leaves, which because it's fall, we're going to have an excess of those. Great material to add to compost. Another easy common one to use is sawdust if you're doing any woodwork. That's really easy to collect and add to the compost bin. Cardboard is another good one to use, but try to avoid cardboard that has ink on it. So we just moved to this property and we have a lot of empty cardboard boxes. So what I'm doing is cutting off all the cardboard parts that have the ink on it and then saving the parts that are bare. And then I'm going to shred those and add those to the compost bin. Another thing that you can add that I don't see a lot of people talking about is ash, like from a campfire or from a fire pit that you have in your backyard. Ash has a lot of alkaline in it, and it's going to raise the acidity of the compost that you add it to. And a little bit goes a long way. So for each one of these buckets that I have, I'm only going to take about a handful of ash per bucket. If you add too much, it's going to raise the acidity too high in your compost, and it's not going to be good for fertilizer for your plants. And it's really that simple. All you have to do is keep these guys covered. You can keep them moist if you want to. It's not necessary like how it is in hot composting. You can come out every few days and just turn over the compost so you can keep mixing it up and keeping it aerated. But besides that, that's all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm Ogonslav Firewind. Go hug a tree. Have a good day.